that thing is burdening you down and you've never considered the fact that you've already got what you need. You've been thinking this is not enough gifting, this is not enough talent, it's not enough money, it's not enough time. I don't have enough. And Jesus is whispering in your ear tonight, you got enough.
Okay, 19 seconds in, and Priscilla is like, obviously this is from a clip from the middle of the message, but man, there's so much to learn from this, just small little clip. The first thing is obvious. She is embodying the message. She's talking about, like, just from what I can gain from this 19 seconds, the idea that we need to trust that God's already given us what we need, right? You already have what you need to live a godly life, right? Like, I don't know what it is, what the text is, but like, there's questions like, where's she coming from? Where's she going to? Where does this fit? But just from, we're preachers, we can probably figure out what she's talking about. She's talking about trusting God, right? Trusting God. And what is required in order to trust God, actually, practically? Surrender. So she's on her knees, and what is that posture? It's a posture of surrender. So she's not only just saying what she's saying, but she's showing what she's saying. This is so huge. And this is such a good lesson for all of us, because some of us, we stand behind these big wooden pulpits and we don't move much. And there are times where to be able to embody the message is part of communicating it well. And already Priscilla's just knocking it out of the park. So let's see where she goes with this.
So Jerry and I, my husband and I, we've been married nearly 20 years now. I can't believe that. And we have 3 sons that we are raising. They are giants, y'all. My 15-year-old is 6 foot 2 inches tall. His 14-year-old brother is 6 foot 2 inches tall. Their 9-year-old brother is coming up right after them. They are some big boys. And one of the things I do for these boys, in fact, you should know that my full-time job is feeding the boys. That is my full-time job. I am trying to figure out any which way I can differently to cook chicken for dinner every single night, just like y'all. That's exactly what I'm doing. So we just...
Okay, so this is obviously, she's in a guest preaching environment, and she starts with an endearing little tidbit about her family, right? She's just 30 more seconds in, and you already have seen her smile a ton and talk about her family and bring in humor. A way to get people to just lean in with what you're saying is to make them laugh, let the guards down, and just be ready to receive whatever it is that she's going to say. She's doing a great job with that. So if you're guest preaching, starting with a story about yourself so that people can get to know who you are and also bring out your personality in that, smile a lot. Those are just such good basic things that go so far in how people receive you. We'll get back to the rest of the video in just a moment. But before we get to that, be sure and go to preachandlead.com/guide and grab your 10-step guide to writing a sticky sermon. If you haven't gotten this yet, go get it. It's the complete process to go from blank page to finished sermon, and not just any sermon, but a sermon that sticks into the hearts of your listeners every single week. So go to preachandlead.com/guide. Go ahead and grab that. It's my gift to you, just saying thanks for being on this video. All right, let's get back to it.
Just do sports and everything with the boys, and they're growing up so quick. So one of the things that I have done since my oldest was 5, I started when he was 5. I went to Ross Dress for Less. In the backhand corner, left-hand side, there is one row that has books and journals and those sorts of things. I went and I grabbed 3 journals, hardback journals. They were just little with the little spiral spines, nothing real fancy, $4.99. I picked one for each boy. I've had it ever since my oldest was 5. And at that age, I started to record a journal for them. I do not write in it every week or every month or even, just on a regular basis. It's just when something happens, I don't want to forget. Or they say something that's really interesting, or I see the handiwork, the fingerprints of God in their life in some way. I kind of write it down. My goal is to have a collection of writings and thoughts and love letters really to my boys about their life that I hand over to them when they're, mature enough to appreciate it. Or better yet, I might just hand it over to their wives and say, girl.
Again, she's just bringing in that humor. If you're funny, Let that come out in your messages. Okay, let me jump to the middle. Let's just see what we've got here.
So he called them. He entrusted them. He sent them out, and they returned to him and gave an account. They were tired. The disciples had been given it everything they had. And I know there are some of you in the room, and you would admit that you haven't done it perfectly, but man, you've sure been purposeful. You've been intentional about this marriage. You've been giving it everything you've got. You've been intentional about that teenager. You've been giving that kid everything you got. This toddler that has this specific bent or this specific issue, that you've been doing everything you can, going to see every expert that you can, reading everything that you can to be the best that you can. As a mother, single mother, you've been giving it everything that you've got, working the jobs that you've got to work to keep food on the table. You've been giving that business, that ministry, that endeavor, everything that you have, and you, the disciples, are tired.
Y'all, okay. This is what it means to preach to the heart. I think she's talking about when Jesus sent the disciples out, they came back. And she's just making the point that they were tired and connecting it to life. This is what it looks like to preach to the heart. When you take the time to take, okay, here's this truth in the scriptures, here's what we interact with, and here's what that connection is. It's such a simple thing, but it is so pivotal in people receiving it and understanding what God is saying through this, to be able to connect the passage to their lives, where you simply make a statement from the text. It's just like any sermon illustration. You have the setup statement, and then you give a list of examples. This is just simply a sermon illustration of a list of examples. Like, I know you've been given everything you've got for your kids, for your business, for your schooling. Like, you take your context, the people that you are preaching to, and you connect these things. I know you've been given it everything you've got, and you're feeling tired. Well, and then there's the bottom line after she gets to that, where she's going to tell us something.
Good news about Jesus is that when the disciples come to him tired, he does not say, "Go away from me and get yourself together. Come back and then I can use you." He says, "Come away with me."
And the implication is your people, can come away with Jesus. You can find rest in him. So good. Okay. Hey, if you like this video and you want to learn other lessons from other preachers, then go ahead and check out this video. It's where I break down a Martin Luther King Jr. speech and give you 10 powerful preaching lessons that you can learn. Go ahead and go right there, and I'll see you in that video.